Right, in
I
that
got
case, we just started.
all right, cool. I got a couple people that I sent the link out to, but I
Right, we
tweeted
can just
out.
keep talking about random shit.
Yeah, man, it's all recorded anyways. HMO live stream episode 8. Me and Frank Analysis and Mr. Hot Media himself.
Yeah, we were just now
Yes,
just
sir.
we were talking about flat earthers, and I had no idea that they called people who believe in that the Earth is a globe that they call them globetards.
Yeah, globe tards, man.
Have you
People
been
are funny.
called a globetard, Pedro?
I don't I don't think I have um nah, I haven't. Nah. I mean, I am a globetard, but no one's ever like explicitly called me that before.
How are you a globetard?
Because the globe is a globe, and I guess that makes me a globetard for believing that.
What
Right,
globe?
flat earthers? Is that it? I
Who
don't
do you need
know.
to contact about that?
I don't know if you guys know who. I'm sure Brooks, you must know. Hold on. Hey Brooks, I don't know how much you know about King Vaughn like that, but King Vaughn just passed away. I think this past week or like this weekend. R.I.P. to him.
Yeah,
Got
well, I know I tweeted about it before you did. I don't think I was one of the first ones to tweet about it because I saw it through like a hip hop DX or something like that.
mm-hmm.
I was just listening to his album like the day before, everything had gone down.
Just starting to like become mainstream on the airwaves, man. So King Vaughn is a. Can I use your iPad? King Vaughn is a. Because I'm not trying to move away from the mic. King Vaughn is a Chicago rapper who recently signed to OTF Records from Lil Durk, one of the original drill artists in Chicago. And you know how it is, man. They call it Chirac for a reason. A whole lot of street shit going on out there. People doing holding a lot of petty beefs, a lot of gun violence, a lot of, just bad tensions in general. But this wasn't even like a Chicago thing. It was King Vaughn ran into Quando Rondo, another pretty famous rapper, I'd say famous, well known or whatever. And they got into a scuffle. Next thing you know, one of Quando's associates or his homies or whatever just pulled out a gun and just started lighting it up and killed King Vaughn basically right there. He died at the hospital, but it was really over after that. What I would say to that is this, man. These rappers are terrified of getting an ass whooping, bro. They are just mortified to just get their ass whooped. Instead, they want to pull out a gun or I don't know. I'm not saying Quando shot anybody, but sometimes you just got to get your hands dirty, take a couple fists to the face. Don't be so quick to pull out the gun. Remember with John Witherspoon, he was Ice Cube's dad in Friday. I don't even remember his name. What was the dad's name in Friday?
Dang, no, Craig was Ice Cube.
Craig and
I can't remember the dad's name.
but the dad, John Witherspoon, when he said, you got these. He said, you win some and you lose some, but you live to see another day. And unfortunately, King Vaughn did not survive the shooting. And that's really like, prime example number one is when you get to that status.
Willie. His name is Willie Jones in the movie.
His name is what?
Willie Jones.
Willie Jones. That's right. Willie Jones, man. Take those words of advice, people, especially, any rappers out there. It's no point of holding on to petty beefs, especially when you're making money. You guys could either make money together or ignore each other and still make money. R.I.P. King Vaughn. I didn't know, about his music that much until super recently. I watched like an interview, heard a couple songs. Good storyteller, has nice flows, good voice, and yeah, man, stop with all the petty rap beefs, rappers. It's no point. And now,
King Vaughn.
Yeah, now anybody in the Quando Rondo circle is got to be, definitely watching over their shoulder. It's going to be a lot of tension between those sides.
I
But
think
we just
that I think Adam 22, he reported that one of the one of the shooters involved was arrested too. So,
yep, already
we'll
and
see what.
it's clear as day, bro. It's right there on a security camera. There's no getting out of that one. You got caught on 4K camera. The clearest shit I ever seen in my life, man. Open and open and shut case for the Atlanta Police Department. They didn't even have to leave the police station. They just look on YouTube and boom, that's it. Murder
Are you
solved.
guys? Is the stream? Does it look clear to you guys on your phone?
Let me check that out right now. That's what I was pulling out the iPad for. We got Brunelski, Karabichelski in the chat. I don't know yet because I can't see.
Bruno's back in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, but he's gonna be back here in like 2 weeks.
Nice.
It looks too slow right now. Like,
All right. Nah, it looks buttery.
really?
Oh wait, actually nah, you look buttery, but the Skype call doesn't.
Might be because he's on the phone too, and we are not.
Could be. Yeah,
I know I'm
the call-
downstairs. I'm right by the router.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is full bars, full bars. I'm on the 5G connection. Matter of fact.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it has like moments where like it goes like kind of clear, but then it stops. But I think
now.
honestly we could probably get it going like this because it looks like it keeps like straining itself out. But then now, why? Yeah, it's so weird. You're like moving super smoothly, but then the Skype call is kind of crusty. How's it sound? Let me hear how it
Might be
sounds.
because in my new place, the Wi-Fi box is really far away.
What?
At the new place that I'm at, the Wi-Fi box is really far away, so I can't connect it with the Ethernet cable.
Okay.
But your screen is fine. I think it's Oh, never mind. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I mean, we could just get it going like this, and then I'll just record on my computer to put on YouTube after.
Yeah, I'm recording on Skype right now anyway.
Oh, y'all doing that already? Oh man, y'all are ahead of the game, bro.
But you can
All right, I'm gonna do it like
you can see it right now. My screen is is frozen right now.
yeah. Now Brooks is the one that's moving smooth, and you're not. But on OBS, you're moving smooth, and we're not. We could do it like that though. Brooks is recording the call. You're moving smoothly on the live stream. Oh, now you're kind of choppy a little bit on the live stream. Do you want to try? Do you want to try starting it over, or do you want to just keep it going like this?
Let's keep it going. Like if we start over, it's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so yeah, let's just keep it like this because now it looks like you're moving pretty good. What about you, Brooks?
How's chat?
I'm in there. I think Brooks, you're one of the people in here too, right?
Yeah, I'm signed in from like the Twitter internets and all that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Playoff P.
Pandemic P.
I have
More like way off P.
Encoding overloaded.
What does that mean? All right, y'all ready?
I haven't gotten this message in a long time.
Yeah, I'm ready whenever, bro.
What's good, HMO live stream, HMO gang, HMO nation. It's your boy Dro. I'm with the homies, BT and Franco, as always. We got a big slate of topics for today, man. We got a big slate of topics for today. And shout out to the two people in the chat. Go ahead and hop in at any point in the comment section. We are live, and we're going to go ahead and start off with the biggest news of the week, and that is the presidential election that just passed. Joe Biden looks like he's projected to be the president-elect of the United States. They're still, going back and forth with all that. And there's a lot of accusations of voter fraud. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of talk going on around this. I want to go ahead and just get the initial thoughts of what was going through your guys' head during this when they announced Joe Biden won, and how are your thoughts on it now? I'll go ahead and start with you, Brooks. What do you think about this past weekend in the election, how it went down?
I mean, my first reaction was like, "Oh, that's cool. Good for him. I'm happy that Trump is out." And then I was like one of the first, because someone else, like, they DM'd me on Twitter or on Twitter, on Instagram. They're like, "Oh my God, Biden won." It's like, yeah, but this, that, and the third. I don't have much faith in him. This, just like really poo-pooing on the parade, and they were like, "Damn, you can't be positive at all." Like, nah, I can't, because I'm not too excited about him. I don't think anybody was really excited about him unless you're like,
you know the truth. You know more of the truth than they do.
I know way too much now, and like it'd be easier for me if I weren't aware, but I am. I'm not super happy about it. And I mean, this can lead to like another discussion we're gonna have about like family discussions we've had about politics. But yeah, I wasn't too happy. Like, I was happy about it, but I wasn't over happy about it. And then I drove into work because I had a shift working the wedding in Four Seasons. Everywhere I'm going, I'm hearing people honking their horns. People are outside, waving the American flag, waving Biden Harris banners and all that. Just super happy.
Peace.
Yeah, this is kumbaya. I thought that was pretty interesting to me. But yeah, I mean, it seems like everybody's happy about it. So
Yeah, let me ask you. By the way, it's a very blue state. So that's why Brooks witnessed this.
And I'm driving into DC as well as I'm hearing like the honks and all that.
True that. That's majority. That's majority blue in DC. I think there was like 93% this year with the votes for DC going in the Democratic side. So Brooks, before I pass it on to Franco and before I give my thoughts, I want to ask you. You say there's nothing for that you were happy about, like nothing to celebrate with the Joe Biden thing?
So, I mean, happy to celebrate the fact that Trump is out of the office and that, like the most harmful person is out, but also kind of just like somber just because, I'm aware of Biden's record. I'm aware of Kamala Harris's record. And I don't mean to poo-poo on anybody's parade, but, like being aware is like, and I don't know if Franco can agree with this, but like when you're aware, it seems like you're just more skeptical, and you can't be happy about certain people getting in, and it almost kind of like ruins some of the stuff for you. Like ignorance is certainly bliss, and but I think it's good that I'm aware of everything. But yeah, I'm not happy, but like I'm happy that Trump is out. That's the main thing.
What were your thoughts, Franco? So when the news came down, I wasn't on Twitter, so I couldn't really see what people were saying. What was going on, man? Like what went through your head? What did you see people saying? What was your initial reaction to seeing how the election ended up playing out this weekend?
Well, I was preparing for either of the war criminals to become president. So I didn't have any
one or another
really to what the results would be. If you want to save yourself from disappointment or feeling depressed about any outcomes in life, people, the best thing you can do is to not feel attached to an outcome that you really want. To just accept whatever result.
Low expectations.
So initially it looked like Trump was going to win. They were calling it the Red Mirage. But then as more votes started piling in, we saw that a lot of states that were going red ended up flipping to blue. And then we saw a lot of the Trump supporters were freaking out. They were immediately growing suspicions. A lot of election integrity activists were also growing suspicions. It could just be because of the mail-in ballots, but if you look at it statistically and mathematically, I haven't dove that deep into that evidence, but it could be that this was like a mathematical and statistical anomaly. Like Trump losing in states that are really critical for Biden to have won, but then Trump wins in a landslide in states that he didn't really need to win. It raises a lot of questions. But regardless of whether we have Biden or Trump, we're still going to be bombing other countries. We're still going to be having policies that are going to benefit the few wealthy people of this country, the millionaires and the billionaires, and the working class people are still going to continue to get screwed over. So it's up to us to keep protesting, to not fall back asleep just because we have this perception that Joe Biden is somehow better than Donald Trump just because he's more polite. We have to keep fighting. We can't go back to sleep.
Yeah, that's what I seen the common thing that I seen people were saying was celebrate now, but get back to reality at some point. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm gonna have to be the contrarian here of the group. I was amped, man. I was like, yes, sir. You know, Trump is gone. You know what I mean? That we see so far. You know, Trump is
challenging the results. We forgot to mention that.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. So far, it looks like Trump got voted out. You know what I mean? I'll be the first one to say, you know, I have my bias in this situation here. I dislike both candidates, but I'll be the first one to say that I dislike Trump more. You know, and I know it's a common thing that you guys say a lot. It's like it's more for his antics than his policies, and hell yeah, you know, his antics are disgusting. His antics, his personality, along with a couple of policies too. You know, Donald Trump to me is just doesn't seem like somebody who takes this job at all serious. And I don't know how much better Biden is going to be, but I think a lot of American people are willing to see what he's going to do with his presidency, because a lot of the flack that he's catching was being associated with the president or the former president. And you know, we have yet to see what he's going to do as the president, you know, what he's going to do as the commander in chief, and not, you know, the vice president this time around. And I think it's just something that people are willing to take a chance on, something I'm willing to take a chance on. It wouldn't be the first time that we voted against, or it wouldn't be the first time I personally voted against my interest, because I think I voted, if I didn't vote for Hillary, I must have voted third party. I definitely didn't vote Trump last time.
Did you vote for Harambe?
Nah, I didn't vote Harambe. No. I don't remember who I voted for last time. I just know it wasn't for Trump. It might have been third party, might have been Hillary, because it was a tough choice last time. You know, the same way it's not in.
Is choosing between a heart attack or cancer. Like, do you want a quick death or like a slow and very painful death?
My thing that I think I had like some disagreements with people were more like, you know, the election fraud thing. Well, I think we can get right into that. The whole election fraud situation, where there's a lot of people coming out and basically saying, "Oh yeah, there's voter fraud going on." And then there's other people saying, no, there's not. And then, you know, I dug in, did some research, and I seen, you know, places like Milwaukee had no discrepancy. I seen some places in Michigan, there was no discrepancy, but things kept changing. I was just looking on their website, like on their voter registration website.
Who controls the website, though?
Whoever controls the website is the ones that control the website.
I know, but what
are you getting at?
How can you trust the people who control the website? Did you see how the votes were counted? Did you see like if they're like what voting machines that they used? Like, did you see who was in charge of uh, overlooking how the votes were being counted? See, this is
Well, that
why
would
we
be
have to
illegal.
dive deep into. Um,
That would be illegal for people to be watching how the votes are
it's
being
not
casted.
illegal in
Those are
some
called poll
places, as what
watchers.
we saw like in our investigation that we did in our group chat. In some places, it is legal, and I think that it should be legal because we want
But
transparency in our
why?
election, right?
Why would
Why
poll
would you have
watching be
trust in
legal?
people counting votes behind closed doors? Like, do you
You said
have that
why
much
wouldn't
trust
we?
in people counting votes behind closed doors? You don't think that they're ever going to have their bias influence the way that they're counting votes? Do you think that there should be a check and balance?
Are there not for vote counters? Are there not always Republican and Democrat, or is there ever just one or the other?
Sometimes the supervisors have their biases, and sometimes like they end up choosing volunteers that are mostly leaning one way, Democrat or Republican. That's why,
That I,
look, we need the more transparency we have in our democracy, the more democratic we are. Otherwise, how are we going to know if we're being cheated or not?
so you think that poll watching should be legal?
Yeah, it should be. There should
You would
also
be
be
okay with
cameras, and they should
somebody
show
staring down
everybody
your shoulder,
how
seeing
the
who you're
votes are
voting
being
for?
counted.
I think that's a matter of just like your own privacy. Like you want to know, you want to have
How?
your own,
But it's our
little.
votes. They're using our votes. Like, it's our, technically our property.
Okay, I
It's the
think a better
public's
question
property.
is. I think a better question is this: who would be doing the poll watching for it
Oh,
to
it has to
be?
be everybody. Like, it has to be like whether there has to be Democrats and Republicans and independents. Everybody gets to watch. It can't be only this group of people get to watch. No. I don't. I'm not sure if that's like what some Republicans wanted. Like, they're like, oh no, it can only be us that watch, or no, it can only be them. That's not okay. It has to be everybody that should be allowed to watch how the votes are being counted.
I don't know. I think personally, me as a voter, I would feel highly uncomfortable with somebody trying to like look over my shoulder, trying to
Make
see what
sure
I'm
that your
doing.
vote gets counted. They're making sure that your vote gets counted, and it doesn't. How would you feel if you voted like one way, right? Let's like
So
you said you voted for Joe Biden. What would you do if there was somebody who was counting your vote and then they changed your what you bubbled in and put in Donald Trump instead?
so if I watch my vote be placed in the machine, that's not good enough.
No, because these machines are owned by multinationals, and these multinationals have agendas. I did in my video that I did earlier today. There's somebody named William Connard, who was an ex-Obama executive who served as the European Union ambassador under the Obama administration. He also worked in the Clinton administration in the 90s. So he has an interest in the outcomes of the elections and what will benefit his career. So, and also I list off some reasons of how these machines are easily hackable. There's been many instances in which teenagers have hacked these voting machines.
Oh,
But that sounds more like conspiracy, though, brother.
No, it's not conspiracy. This is well documented.
So it's well documented that teenagers have hacked election voting machines.
Yeah, they have.
Can we be linked, please?
Yeah, sure. I'll pull it up right now.
LinkedIn, please. I would like to see it.
I'm sure they talked, like, this is something that was discussed in my high school even.
Really?
BCC.
High schoolers
You can change the
hacking.
algorithm of the machine so that after a certain number of votes, it goes towards a certain candidate. And because of how easily hacked our elections can be, that's why Tulsi Gabbard introduced her Securing America's Election Act, so that there could be more security with the voting machines. And that if somebody ever were to hack our voting machines, you can see that it was hacked. Like, you get a notification about it. But that's not how our voting machines work right now.
So I'm looking here at a report from from the public broadcasting services, or PBS, as most people probably know it by, says that an 11-year-old changed election results on a replica Florida state website in under 10 minutes.
An 11-year-old.
That's a Florida replica website though. I'm trying to find something here because that's the main thing that comes up here.
All right, so
let me look at it on
is it all right if I read what I found, or
Go for it.
All right, so this is from Truth Out. In the very first interview that I had with an election integrity activist, Nico House, I discussed this, and I also discussed this in my latest video. So here's what it says: cybersecurity experts and white hat hackers who have gained access to the machine over the years report that every component of these electronic voting systems are ridiculously vulnerable to fraud. Machines are not safeguarded and sit vulnerable for weeks leading up to an election. The shoddy locks and keys on the machines are easily opened and replaced. Machines can be breached without breaking official security seals. The secret software can be rigged with malicious self-deleting code to steal elections. The rigged code will not be detected by standard security tests. Vote rigging viruses can be spread from one computer through an entire network. The administrative passwords are often easily hacked or missing entirely. One person can access voting systems and others can enter behind them. Last-minute patches to supposedly update software can harbor malicious code. Wireless connections are insecure and aren't always evident. Vulnerable hacking points include voter registration lists, any machines that are linked to the internet, any digital vote results that are transferred wirelessly to central tabulators, and all final vote tallies transferred to the website or secretaries of states. Dozens of technical reports and studies, and then this is all linked. Books.
Where is this? I want to see this.
This is on truthout.org. Articles, investigations, and even congressional whistleblowers. Testimony have exposed the depth of this crisis. So again, this isn't anything new. And that's why a lot of people are proponents of having just everything be, having paper ballots and having it be hand counted. I think that that's more secure and it's less hackable.
How would you feel about if there were some, like Hardlands Media? I can't remember the dude's name, but one of the guys.
Cabello or Daniel?
I guess it was Daniel. He was proposing doing like having some phone app for everybody to be able to just log in and tap in who they want to vote for. Do you think that's more susceptible to voter fraud as well, or election fraud?
So if you set it up in a way so that you can detect if it's been hacked, you get a notification that it's been hacked, then you can just like stop everything right there and start over. Your vote should also be traced. Just like when you place an order for a package, like on Amazon or on any like reliable website that you order something from, you can trace where your package is going, right? You should be able to know, you should be able to trace where your vote is. Otherwise, you're just like relying on blind faith on what happens to it.
So Bruno's saying here,
hand count 150 million votes, have millions of volunteers. Have millions of volunteers counting votes. That's how they do it in other countries.
Yeah, so and truthout.org is looks like a pretty I don't want to say that it doesn't look like they have any clear dog in this fight. So that's I could chalk that up to being I guess we could chalk that up to being a good source there. It's possible, and I wanted to ask you this. I had this question, Franco. So this doesn't surprise you, obviously, the fact that there's allegations of voter fraud, right?
So we gotta distinguish between voter fraud and election fraud. Voter fraud is when somebody like uses like a fake ID or something, or there's like, or you're pretending to be somebody else.
Okay, so all right, election fraud then, not voter fraud, election fraud. Right?
Right. What about it?
So wouldn't it be wouldn't it make you more comfortable knowing something like that to vote in person, or would that be something that would make you want to do a mail-in instead?
If you can track your mail-in, I'll be perfectly fine with it.
Well, I know for this past one, they were tracking the mail-in ballots too. Like you can know when it was delivered. You can know. I don't know if you can know
Yeah,
if it
it's
can be
different.
counted,
It's
but
different in every state. In some states, there's less security about it.
so at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that we need to have like the safest and most transparent election. I know Pedro is saying he doesn't want people to be watching over him, which
They're not,
and
but
personal.
Pedro, they're not watching over you really. They're watching over the people who are controlling your vote to make sure that your vote actually gets counted and goes the way that you chose for it to go to.
That just seems like a slippery slope, man, because
How is it a
sometimes
slippery
you know
slope?
how it is. Because you know how it could be with poll watchers and I guess elect or what is it, voter watchers, what was it, it was it's something where people literally just watch the voters. I don't remember the exact term for it. You never know who's trying to stir shit up and who's not, but there's really no clear rule, like from what we did on our research earlier. And if somebody, unless somebody can link us to something that we can really, grasp our teeth into, it does look like in most places that's not legal. To me personally, I just don't feel comfortable doing it. If I'm watching my vote go into this machine, call me naive, but I'm not really thinking that these things are going to be triggered algorithms or set, by some 10-year-old in his bedroom. You know what I mean? I'm thinking that this is a machine in 2020 that, is literally, I'm watching it take my vote.
And you
I
have
don't
full
think that
trust after you leave it.
if I watch it go into the machine, I really don't have any concrete reason,
All right,
unless I can be
the
enlightened to
people
think
who
that this thing
own
may possibly take my vote and change it to something else. I don't have anything to really grasp my teeth into on
the
that.
people who own the voter machines have a profitable interest because these voting machines are privately owned.
Mm. And that
So they
means
have an
that
interest on the
there should
outcome
be
of the elections.
so you think that they're able to manipulate something on that wide of a scale instead of something that would be more like easy to go under the radar instead of something like a straight shoot up like in some states how it was?
What do you mean? Like,
So there
what
are
do you mean
some
by a
graphs where I
shootout?
think in Milwaukee there was one where like Joe Biden was going up, 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 and then he had like a one shoot going straight up. So
Oh,
do
you mean
you
like how
think that,
all of a sudden, like there was like 110,000 votes that all of them went to Joe Biden and not a single
right? So
one went to Donald Trump?
right, that's what I'm referring to. So you're telling me that I should believe that these machines did it that many times instead of something more, you know, because I would believe it if it was like a small thing, but if it's a big thing, who's to say that Joe Biden wasn't just getting a shitload of votes? Like, why would there not be at least one or two arguments to make against that? Where it's like, you know what, it was just crazy. He got a bunch of votes
Because
instead of
it's
jumping
if
quickly
it
on the
happened and
there's
it's
election
like,
fraud going on and Donald Trump got robbed. Why is there more arguments for Donald Trump than there is against Joe Biden
if
or
that happened,
against Donald
because
Trump?
most of the discrepancies that occurred in favor of Joe Biden over Donald Trump. Look, if that is indeed true, that 100% of those 110,000 votes went to Joe Biden, that is so rare. That there's like a 0.001% chance that could have happened because there has to be variation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe too that one person got all those votes at the same time. It's like, where are these votes coming from? And then, yeah, like how are they getting counted and all that? It is kind of weird to me.
Yeah, but but
Um,
but to be fair, like that was corrected according to what Bruno said.
So in
On the
MD, you
chat.
can track your ballot. Also, ranked choice would be nice. Poll watchers, as Trump stated in the debate, poll watchers, right? He said
Should be
his
all
for his folks
sides.
to go actual voting to the actual voting sites, whereas actual poll watchers watch people tabulate ballots. They corrected that afterwards, by the way, was extremely high for Biden, but not 100%.
No, it was in one
And
instance. It was 100% that went to Joe Biden.
and where did that happen at?
It was in either Michigan or Wisconsin. I don't remember which one it was. But 100% went to it. But I think that's the one that got corrected later. But it's still sketchy because a lot of that stuff happened to Bernie Sanders during the primaries. It happened to him in 2016, and it happened again in 2020, where 100% of votes went to like Pete Buttigieg, or it went to like Joe Biden. But it never, these discrepancies never went in favor of Bernie Sanders. And we should be questioning that, especially after what was revealed in the WikiLeaks documents in 2016 that revealed how Hillary Clinton and the DNC colluded to rig the election, the primaries against Bernie Sanders.
I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that something did or didn't happen. My only thing that I keep saying, and I said this earlier, right? And I think a lot of people would probably agree with this. I could be wrong. For whoever, is watching or whoever hears it thinks I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. But to me, politics just seems very subjective. You know what I mean? But as far as actual machines rigging things for one person, it's possible, but I see more conclusions saying, sure, no, definitely. I'm sure that there's been a lot of stuff. Forget just election fraud. I'm sure there's a lot of shit that's happening right under our nose that, a lot of people probably don't know about. But why jump to that conclusion so quickly? Because we say
don't just jump and conclude that yes, it definitely was stolen. No, just conclude
exactly. That's my whole point.
It probably happened. You can say it probably happened, but don't say it definitely happened. If you say it definitely happened, then you sound like a conspiracy theorist. So,
but that's what we keep saying with you, bros. Because it seems
I'm not
like
saying that it definitely happened. I'm saying that
it seems
very,
like
very
you're more leaning towards that idea, and you have more arguments against Joe Biden than you do for him.
That's my subjectivity then, and it's based off of evidence. It's not anything objective. It's what I believe, and that's not what I'm using to determine my objective conclusion. And the objective conclusion is that I don't know, and that should be everybody's conclusion.
100%.
So Brenda said, didn't Trump tell his people to vote in person instead? Yeah, he did. That's why it is certainly possible and very, very likely that most of those mail-in ballots went to Joe Biden. So yeah, most of the mail-in ballots most likely went to Joe Biden. But to say that 100 or even like over 99 or 98% of them went to Joe Biden, that's not statistically possible. Like, there has to be variation. There has to be like some Trump supporters that were like, I'm not going to listen to Trump, but I'm still going to vote for him through mail-in.
That's true. I'll give you that. 100% is a very sketchy number, but I think we need to, I think there needs to be a bit more investigating.
All right. Bruno, he said they said it happened in 2016, but Comrade Putin sounds like this same thing. Russians ran disinformation campaigns, but they sure as shit didn't hack the actual machines. What
I'm not seeing any of this.
campaigns are you referring to, Bruno? Because the only things that was proven in the Mueller report was that there were these memes, and 90% of those memes had to do with like buying products and stuff and like pictures of like Jesus. And then the only political memes were the ones that showed like, if you vote for Trump, then you are like closer to Jesus. If you vote for Hillary, then you're the devil. How there's no evidence to suggest that influenced the election. There's no way to prove that.
Facebook. What you mean Facebook, Bruno?
He means like the memes that were linked to Russia. But how can you
God,
say that those
excuse me.
memes influenced the election?
Bro, dude, think about how the memes for Joe Biden influenced the public opinion. That is something that definitely like can sway somebody's opinion. Like just
but you have to
more
prove that.
casuals than anything.
You have to prove that.
You wouldn't say that memes are a very influential, thing for people nowadays,
but
where they
that's
see
being subjective though, like we were talking about. That's a belief. You have
politics
to look
are
at evidence.
subjective, baby.
What?
Politics are subjective. I've been telling you this all day.
That they definitively swung an election one way is like you have to show evidence for that. You have to show evidence. Like you have to ask people, did you vote this way because you saw a meme? And then how would they even know if that's the reason why they voted that way?
Bruno, you're a sociologist, man. You should go do some surveys. Ask people in Jersey City, New York. Ask them if they saw any Russiagate memes that made them vote for Clinton. See what they say.
Well, like in the end, Trump was way more aggressive towards Russia than Barack Obama was. He increased the sanctions on Russia. He attacked Russia's allies. He was bombing Syria. He increased the sanctions on Syria. He attempted a coup in Venezuela, which goes against Putin's geopolitical interests. He continued to bomb Yemen. So Trump, in the end, he did a lot of stuff that went against Russia's geopolitical interests. So that, again, like I was saying, if you want to attack Trump, let's attack him on stuff that we can actually prove.
Okay, so let me say this. I guess this is me more like, and like I said again, I really respect that you own your bias, because I'm biased too, bro. And I think a lot of people are very biased, especially now, you know what I mean? More than ever, people are more, sticking with what they like or what they prefer and shit like this. I do give credit to, I have a couple followers that I seen kind of shift right from the fuck Trump to more like, both candidates are really bad and a Biden win is really nothing to be happy about. Shout out to the two guys that I'm referring to. Shout out to Aaron Bermudez. I always call him Aaron Hernandez. Aaron Bermudez and OG Director Vaughn. We had them both on the podcast. Both of them have been strong against the whole Joe Biden Kamala ticket, and about how basically a lot of the same things that you say, where it's like people are gonna go back to sleep. Trump is. Tell
him to follow me. And I'll
every time I see their pages, I'd be like, yo, I need to get them on the podcast, because I bet y'all would be like,
what's his name?
The
guy who you guys talked to about some of the NBA playoff games, who is also at the DMV peaceful protest in Northwood. What's his name?
Oh, Kadar.
Yeah, Kadar is also he's also recognizes that Joe Biden and Kamala is nothing to celebrate, really. Like, this is not a victory for BLM.
I think a lot of people, at least our age, recognize that too.
It's good that people are starting to wake up to that. I think more people were blinded to Obama than they are to Joe Biden.
When you say BLM, you mean like the org, or you literally mean like just the idea in general?
Principle.
The principle. It's hard to tell now, man. It's because we can say, nah, I could come up here and.
It's a victory once we actually get Joe Biden to implement a policy that'll benefit Black people. Because if you remember,
we just gotta push him.
We made a video in which Joe Biden refused to talk to Ice Cube and his contract with Black America, but Trump was more open to talking to Ice Cube.
Yep.
But wouldn't you wouldn't it be a smarter thing for both candidates to want to do something like that after the election?
No, because you give up your leverage after they win. Like there's no promises after that. It's like paying somebody to do a job before they do the job. Like there's no guarantee that they're going to do a good job.
Because to me, I feel like Trump doesn't. I'm not gonna say I know it. This is just my thoughts. To me, that more seemed like Trump thinking like, oh shit, Ice Cube wants to talk to me. Hell yeah, I want to talk to him. That would help me out in the polls most likely.
Probably, but hey, he's doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. If that is truly what he wanted to do, but also he
That's
probably
fair.
wanted to look good for black people so he could win in the election. So he's doing the right thing for the wrong reasons.
And his voter count did go up with everybody except
Yeah.
for black women, I believe, too.
Except
So
for white men. He went up for Hispanics. He went up for black women, black men. But he went.
Let's
down.
talk about.
He went up for white women, but he went down for white men.
Let's talk about that, Franco. What do you think is the driving force for the increase in Latinos for Trump?
I think they're just like they're not satisfied with the way that Obama left left their lives like financially. They probably don't want to go back to that. I haven't thought about it too much really, other than they're just not really excited about Joe Biden, and they're probably not buying any of the fake promises that he's putting for them. They probably this is what I hear from my aunt, and she's not pro Trump. She hates Trump, but she said Trump is more honest than Joe Biden.
Well, honest,
Like
I guess
people can perceive Trump as a more honest actor than Joe Biden, just
like
because of how blunt he is about stuff.
Yeah, saying he speaks his mind, but when he speaks his mind, what is he really saying though?
Most of the time, just a lot of bullshit.
So I guess
some stuff he did say that were like actually true though, like about being in like Iran or whatever for the oil, or like
in Syria, yeah, like in I
like the
used
military
that clip
industrial
from
complex.
the gray zone that Brooks is talking about. Like when we went into Syria and we secured the oil, like the U.S. military secured the oil. Trump went up and he was like, we secured the oil. The oil is protected for the U.S. Like a George Bush and a Barack Obama would never say that. They would say that we're there because we're trying to protect the people there from this tyrant. But in reality, like we've talked about here on this channel, we go to these countries because we want to steal their natural resources. Let's not forget how Donald Trump single-handedly destroyed Jeb Bush in that debate. Remember when he was like, when he called out how George Bush knew about 9/11, and he knew about how there was no weapons of mass destruction, and yet we invaded Iraq anyway. That was something that's really taboo. Not even Obama would have called out the Republicans for that. He would just say, "I didn't vote for the Iraq War. I think it was like a strategical mistake." He wouldn't say that that the Bush administration outright lied to us, because they did. They saw the reports. There was no weapons of mass destruction, and we went in there anyway.
Biden voted for that war too.
Biden was shaming people for not voting for it.
So how much blame does Bush get for? Because I think one of the biggest arguments I've heard you use, saying like the whole "thanks Obama" with Donald Trump, is because Trump inherited Obama's America, right? So how much blame is Bush going to get for the America that Obama inherited, as well as him being the president with mostly Republicans controlling his decision making?
And then how much does Clinton get that blame? And then how much does
it goes back?
Bush
it goes all the
Sr.
way
get
back.
that? Yeah, that's why we have to recognize
going all the way
that
back.
Problem is systemic.
So shouldn't it be thanks George Washington?
See, should we thank the King of England, or like the Tea Partiers. Like we can trace this back all the way to like the beginning of like human civilization. The problem is systemic, and so we need to realize that there's a problem with our system and try to fix that.
So if that's the case, why does Obama catch so much flack from frank analysis?
Because Obama, he still
Not saying that he's
pretends
the
to be
best.
this
I'm just asking
angel.
why.
He pretends to be somebody who's actually trying to help us because he says the right things. But actually, he was not the person who we thought he was. He said he was going to get us out of all these wars, but then he got us into more wars. We were already in 2 wars, and then when Obama came into office, he amped it up, and now we're in 7 wars. At least Trump didn't get us into any new wars, but Trump continued them, and he started bombing more. He started bombing these countries more. Obama bailed out Wall Street. There's many things that we can talk about with Obama, and how he left this country, and still a lot of liberals, a lot of people on the left still believe that he was this great person who tried, when actually he was given a choice and he chose to do what his donors asked him to do. His cabinet was chosen by Citibank, and so he just did what his bosses told him to do.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. You know, I think every politician has their faults, but I think to basically put everything that Trump has ever done on the shoulders of Obama
I'm not
just
saying
seems like,
every single thing, but
because you say if we need to blame somebody for Trump, we need to blame Obama for Trump. So
I said
I
that.
guess clarify
said that.
what you meant by that.
I said that in case that we do get a Donald Trump second term, because it's highly suspected that Bernie Sanders would have beaten Donald Trump easily, because right now we're going through a pandemic, right? We're going through an economic crisis. Bernie Sanders was offering us UBI. He was later on. At first he wasn't for it, but later on he was for it, just for the pandemic. He was offering us universal healthcare, single payer healthcare. He was going to cancel student loan debts. He's gonna apply all these social programs that would have helped the working class people during all these crises that are happening right now. Just him offering single payer healthcare alone would have crushed Trump. A lot of
And this is
former
Bernie
Trump
you're talking
supporters would
about.
have jumped ship and supported Bernie Sanders.
You think so? I don't know about that,
have.
man.
A lot of
I
them
don't
would
know
have.
about
On
that.
Fox News, 70% of Fox News viewers agree that we should have single payer health care.
You think that's enough for
There's
them to
nothing-
jump
well,
ship?
What Donald Trump goes after Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and some of these other Democrats is about their corruption, right? He can't really say that about Bernie Sanders. What is he going to say against Bernie Sanders? He's just going to call him a socialist, and then Bernie Sanders is going to be like, yeah, I'm a socialist.
That
That's
was
what
that
America
was the same
wants.
plan he had against. That was probably the same plan he was going to have against anybody though too. Was calling him a socialist.
Yeah, but
Far
the
left,
thing
but
is,
then
Bernie was...
Yo, take
he
off the
held-
chat on Skype, Franco.
What? Yeah, I saw
Take
that.
off the chat on Skype.
Bernie Sanders, he was too cautious about attacking his Democratic colleagues. But with Trump, it would have been all gloves off. He would have not held back when attacking Trump.
But
If he
then-
held back on Biden, go ahead, bro.
He said Biden could win. Well, in the end,
Nah.
he did win. He supposedly he did win, but why would you say that if that's your competitor? You should be saying that you're more likely to win than Biden. And I
Go ahead,
mean,
Brooks. You were saying? My
I was
bad.
gonna point out also because we're talking about Bernie might have won in like he actually might have won more votes than Biden would have, but at the same time too, like we know people vote against their best interests. Like we know Florida, right? Florida decided to approve minimum wage, $15 minimum wage. They still voted in Trump. California they had making Uber workers be a part of Uber, but then they decided to vote against that. People tend to vote for against their best interest all the time. So how do we know that wouldn't happen again with Bernie, even if his platform was super popular. I mean, I'm a Bernie guy. Like I'm more of a Bernie fan than I am of Biden, but I'm not gonna absolutely believe that he would have won in like a huge landslide either.
Just because
Yeah,
of, I think because of COVID, that would have really helped him. And also would have depended on who he had as his VP. If he had Elizabeth Warren, there's way more for Donald Trump to attack. He'd have been, oh, Bernie, look at him. Like, you guys think he's a revolutionary? He's hiring all these people that are taking in corporate money, like Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren, who lied about being a Native American. But
So then
yeah,
who would
like,
have been the better VP candidate then?
yeah, but
No,
Tulsi
who would
Gabbard,
have been
there's
the
less
better
for Donald
VP?
Trump to attack
Oh
Tulsi
yeah.
Gabbard on.
So
But with the thing with Bernie though, I think the biggest contributor to Trump's loss against Biden is because of COVID and how he handled it. So if Biden was offering universal health care, Biden would have won by even more. There wouldn't even be this debate about if Biden stole the election. Like, Biden would have won in a landslide if he was offering free health care during a pandemic. Bernie Sanders was doing that. So that's why I say that Bernie Sanders could have won in a landslide against Trump, unless the elites interfered because they prefer Donald Trump than over Bernie Sanders, and they meddled in the election somehow.
So Bruno said in here in the comments, I mean, he kind of did all right for some stuff, you know, LGBT rights and all that jazz, Red Scares.
Domestically, that's
Still something.
That's really all you can say though, because
What about
LGBT
Iran and then
stuff that doesn't
the
really
Paris Accord?
like LGBT stuff that doesn't hurt the corporations that much. It's just more consumers to pander to, right? And for more consumers that are like gonna buy their stuff. But is that gonna go away? It's not gonna go away. That'll be like taking away like implementing Jim Crow again. The LGBTQ stuff passed under a conservative Supreme Court. So, and if they wanted to take it away, they would have done so by now.
So
What about when Obama did the Iran deal? What
The
about
Iran
the Paris
deal?
Accords?
I mean,
What about helping us to get out of not the pandemic, but the huge recession that we were in too?
you've been watching some secular talk, I see, bro.
yeah,
that Iran deal is good too, but what Kyle doesn't bring up is how the U.S. is still allies with Israel, and so tensions with Iran is still going to increase. Even though
But they
the
were
Iran
doing
deal
everything
is
that they were
good,
supposed to,
the
right?
tensions are still going to go up.
But Iran was still doing what they were supposed to do too.
Right. Yeah. And in terms
I mean,
of
I get
Iran,
your
in terms
point.
of Iran, yeah, Obama was better than is better than Trump. Biden is better than Trump also, but Biden also wants to sanction Iran. And he also wants to amp up relations with, like, he wants to continue funding Israel. And Israel is right now committing, a lot of crimes against humanity against their own people in Palestine. They're also acting out very aggressively against other countries in the Middle East. Also Saudi Arabia. I mean, that we're still going to be selling weapons to Saudi Arabia and aiding them in this genocide against Yemen.
Yeah, well, we've been... Sorry, guys. I need to mute my damn thing. The text messages coming in from other people.
Popular
Shit.
guy.
No. Hell no. This is the first text I've got all day, man. But shout out to John, by the way. John's the one who he's trying to get some hoodie off. But I think it's up to each person. I've said it before, as far as who wants to vote for who you're going to support. And Franco, man, I got to give you mad props, bro, for at least like owning that there is subjectivity. With yourself, with me, with other people. A lot of people are going to, I think all of us can agree, or most of us can agree, that people are going to, have some type of preference, bias, not all the time, but a lot of the times it's going to be preference, bias, and agendas that people want to follow. And it's easier for people to find arguments, myself included, all of us. I mean, we all do this, finding arguments that are, more suited to our beliefs. But we need to look at several sources. We need to, question certain things, like as you would say, and come up with the best
Especially,
conclusions that we
especially from
possibly
who
can.
though? Like, who should we be questioning the most?
And what is he saying here? Just to throw it out,
Corporate
that
media.
Israel and Turkey sold weapons to I can't even read this.
Azerbaijan, yeah, they did. Yeah, to contribute to
Azerbaijan to
their
contribute.
aggression ethics against Armenians. And there's actually, um, yeah. Bruno sent me something on that
Armenians. Shout out
recently.
to System of a Down.
Yeah, Azerbaijan and Armenia are having a conflict right now. The U.S. is sitting out of it because they're not. It's in their best interest to sit out and allow all this chaos to be Russia's problems. I think Bruno has looked into this more than I have, though.
Yeah, shout out to Bruno, man. He tends to give me hip to some links and whatnot. But I need to check out more of the stuff that Bruno be trying to tell me about. But yeah, that's the 2020 election. We could keep on going all day about this, but we do have other topics that we wanted to touch on. We could talk more about this, in the next episode or off camera. Shout out to Bruno. Always.
We'll be. You guys are invited onto Frank Analysis for Thursday.
Bet. Frank Analysis.
The invitation still up, bet.
Yeah, so Thursday, definitely tune on in. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and move on to topic number 2. And like I said, great discussion. Topic number 1. Hold on, because I knew Bruno was gonna say one more thing here. Best believe if there was oil, motherfuckers would have bombed the Azerbaijans like they bombed the Bosniaks.
Yeah, for sure, Bruno. Yeah, for
it's
sure.
all about personal gain, personal interest.
Right now, it's in the best interest for the U.S. to just like have Russia have a headache with this, because they both used to be part of the Soviet Union, so now like the war is mostly about land.
And we can give Biden credit for that too, though, and not wanting to continue to use oil. Obviously, like 2050 is kind of a long timeline to get off of it.
He wants to continue. He said he's not going to ban fracking.
No, but he said we need to get off of it.
Right,
too.
But he doesn't want to do anything until 2050, and we don't have time for that.
I know, which is what that was going to be my next point. I don't think that 2050 is a good timeline, but
he's not serious about it. He's pandering to the people who know about the climate change issue, which there's no denying now by like the majority of people. But he also doesn't want to admit to everybody that he's just going to do what the oil lobby tells him to do and what the fossil fuel lobby tells him to do.
There's no doubt that climate change is a real thing. For anybody that's out there still saying that the earth is flat and that the climate is not changing, let's be real, guys. There's no reason that it should be 80 degrees or 75 degrees in the middle of November this often for like a whole week. There's definitely climate change. Like, we need to take care of the earth now before, we have problems later on. But, we'll discuss that more and later topics, but we'll go ahead and move on to topic number 2. And Franco, man, feel free to ask any questions, chime in here. I know, sports is not your realm, but you tend to have some good questions when we talk about this stuff. So,
I'm gonna have to like work a little bit on my stuff while you guys talk, but I'll leave the stream up. I'll be listening.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So go ahead and make us a little bit bigger there on OBS, then, man. We're about to talk some shit. So I see a whole lot of stuff going on in the NFL right now. The 101st season in the NFL. We are now officially at week 8, the midpoint of the NFL. And it looked like Russell Wilson, he's lost his MVP edge. 5 picks in the last 3 games, 2 losses. And as you already know, you asked me if we're having my homeboy fatigue, man. I can never get enough of Patrick Mahomeboy and watching him play on Sundays, man. So I ask you this, Brooks. Who is your midseason MVP as of right now?
Russ Wilson, man, dangerous.
No Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers is my guy, man, but nah, I'm still gonna stick with Russell Wilson. I'm still gonna stick with my original pick. I was looking around for some stats and all of that, but so far, 8 games in, right? He's got 28 touchdown passes, third behind Tom Brady and Peyton Manning for '07 and 13, when Tom Brady led like one of the greatest teams ever. Ended up going short against the Giants, of course, and then Peyton Manning 13. He coming off of that neck injury. Throws like 50, whatever it was, 55 touchdowns, but they end up losing the Super Bowl anyway. I think that's huge. I think being able to score 30 points in the first 7 games is pretty important too. I mean, the bad thing about the Seahawks is their defense, but offensively they're running on all cylinders, despite the fact that Russell Wilson has been throwing 5 picks in the last 2 games, 2 L's. That's still my pick for me. Yeah.
Damn, you know what's crazy, man? I sound like such a hater. And shout out to George Jarjour and his brother Sammy. They're big Seattle heads and they love the fucking Seahawks. But every time they talk about Russell Wilson and they talk about the MVP race, I'm always like, bro, I don't understand the Mahomes hate, man. Like, not the Mahomes hate, but I guess the Mahomes
Mahomes fatigue, like I mentioned.
Is it that Mahomes, bro? I think Mahomes is starting to get that same level of fatigue that viewers have of LeBron and Michael Jordan. People are already like, you know what? This guy is so nice that he's going to be the MVP every year. Like, he's going to be the best player every year. So if he doesn't have like 9 touchdowns and 1,000 yards in every single game, it's going to be like an average pedestrian performance for the guy. Bro,
yeah, we're used to seeing him be great, and that's why people are fatigued. Like, who wants to see one guy dominate every year in and year out? Like, Michael Jordan could have won every MVP in the 90s.
Isn't that why we love LeBron?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, I think the biggest, and I'm a Derrick Rose fan for sure. I think the biggest argument that you can make about him getting robbed of the MVP was maybe 2011. I can certainly make a case about this year too, him losing against Giannis. But yeah, I mean, LeBron James is the best player year in and year out. We know he's the most valuable player every year. But you got to give it to somebody else. You got to give somebody else attention. You got to give Charles Barkley an MVP. You got to give Karl Malone an MVP.
You would agree it's a narrative-based award?
No, I think it's only been. I think it's a narrative-based award when it comes to Russell Westbrook, because the dude said, "I'm going for MVP," and everybody was like, "Oh, we want to see him go on a revenge tour," and that's why he won over James Harden. I think that's a narrative-based MVP, but I think normally when the MVP goes to best player on the best team, I think that's fair. You know what I mean? LeBron James, he's like the dude is what, he's 30. He's about to be 36 years old. He's 35 last season. He leads the league in assists. He's still doing things at 35 years old that most 35-year-old athletes should not be doing. Like, the dude is an ageless wonder. That's a good narrative. That'd be, if you wanted to do a narrative-based MVP, that's a good reason to make him. But Giannis had career highs over everything. He won Defensive Player of the Year over Anthony Davis, who had a good argument there too. Like, he is, if he's not the most dominant player in the league, he's like 1B next to LeBron James. Or you could say AD. When KD is healthy, you could put KD in there too.
Speaking of Giannis, man. Actually, no. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Patrick Mahomes, I'm gonna tell you guys why this guy should have like 10 MVPs by the end of his career. Okay, he's on the best team he's on the best team right now. The offense is carrying them to 8-1. I think that this team is competent enough to be able to continue to have this great offense that will overcome a lot of their defensive woes. This guy is taking a team that has their defense allowing 30 points and they're still winning like every week. He's like pushing the offense and the defense himself, you know what I mean? And I know it sounds weird because Patrick Mahomes is not out there playing linebacker, free safety or nothing like that, but 25 picks, 1 interception. He's thrown the ball 300 times this season. He's only got picked off once. and he has to deal with this shitty ass defense. We already seen what they did. They blessed Tom Brady with a Super Bowl D Ford in 2019 or whatever. I was about to say LeBron. Patrick Mahomes should be going for a three-peat right now. Should be going for, if he didn't get injured last year, his third MVP this year. This guy is incredible, man. And on top of all that, 8 points, his biggest margin of defeat. That was last week against the Oakland Raiders. I don't know how you don't.
I think one of the most interesting things too, it was a graphic I saw. He has 100 touchdowns in his career now.
100 touchdowns, 19.
And he's only got 19 interceptions, and that's fewer than Tom Brady and Peyton Manning had over their first 100 touchdowns too. And I think that's an incredible statistic, especially when he's only been starting this is his third year as a starter.
Yep. And this is the fewest in NFL history. No quarterback has had fewer games played to reach 100 passing touchdowns. The previous record holder was Dan Marino at 44 games. Patrick Mahomes got it at 40 games. So I do think that the MVP is a narrative-based award because think about this. Mahomes
for the NFL, maybe. I think we should say NFL.
Say it's for both. I would say it's for both because in the NBA, think about this. LeBron James, would it be a good narrative for him to win the MVP every year? Probably not because they don't want LeBron to get worn out. The NBA wants to keep their main product fresh. So they don't want – I'm going to start with the NBA. They're not going to give it to LeBron every year because they don't want people to hate LeBron. They want people to love LeBron. So what do? They kind of dick him on an MVP or two just to keep that love. You know what I mean? And then you give it to a guy – you give it to a James Harden who had a good season but not efficient. He's not really – he's like number 3 in the West when you got LeBron number 1 in the East with the Cavs. He's putting up big numbers. He's putting up efficient numbers. You don't give it to LeBron. And then you go to the NFL because LeBron's a perfect example because he's the one that's always coming up number 2, number 3. Like you said, the Russell Westbrook MVP, even the Giannis MVP. Actually, no, Giannis MVP was well deserved. The second,
I can name one narrative MVP for the NBA, and that's Russ. Like Derrick Rose, he said, "Oh, why can't I be the MVP?" But he backed that up with career numbers and being the best player on the best team. James Harden did the same thing. Steph Curry, 2 times in a row, he did the same thing. Best player on the best team. Kevin Durant, when he won the MVP in 2014, I want to say,
yep.
Best player on the best team. I think the NBA is a lot more best player, best team than the NFL is when you have to have a good narrative or you have to be best player on the best team. How often does that not happen in the NFL is, I guess, my question.
Yeah, in the NFL, man, I just think as far as the narratives go, it's why give it to why give it to Patrick Mahomes every single year when you got these other guys who are cooking? I think, you want to give it to a Lamar Jackson. You want to give it to a Kyler Murray. You want to give it to a Russell Wilson. You don't want to get that. These leagues don't want their main moneymaker, their main product to be in any way compromised. So that's why I think it kind of comes back to it being a little bit of a narrative-based award, because there's been times in the past, where you got maybe Peyton Manning getting dicked on an MVP, maybe Aaron Rodgers. You see really good players getting skimped out on MVPs, and they feed it to an underdog like Matt Ryan or maybe Cam Newton. It just seems very narrative based to me.
I think when you say narrative, I think the thing to think about too is how good are these teams that they're playing on too, right? JJ Watt could have been an MVP multiple times.
That's insane. He definitely
back when he was like JJ Swat, right?
Right.
But how great were those Houston Texans teams? How great were Kobe Bryant's teams when he was scoring 35 points a game, over Steve Nash averaging a double-double, but also being on the best team in the Western Conference? I don't know. I mean, I think I just can't agree that it's a narrative MVP because I keep on bringing up these cases of best players winning on the best teams, and then I think that's relatively true with the NFL. I can't give you a whole bunch of cases for it, but I get what you're saying, Pedro, but I just it's hard for me to agree with that. It's hard for me to make a case for it.
Yeah, I guess we agree to disagree
And
on that. I just feel like these leagues, the NFL and the NBA specifically, maybe even the MLB. I don't know that much about the MLB compared to the latter. There's products that are, the main attraction of these leagues, and they don't want these people to garner too much hate by giving them the MVP every year. And these voters are all media personalities, so they're tuned in to what people are saying. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
what do media people like more than anyone, Brooks? They love narratives. Narratives is what drives the media. It's what keeps their jobs basically. It's what puts food on their tables. So what I
yeah.
mean? It's kind of easy for them to do that, but
There certainly
that's
are
my
some voters
opinion.
that do
That's not
that.
fact. That I could be very wrong about that. They could be making a straight statistical decision. There could be, what's the word? Criteria for it that I'm not really, paying as much attention as I should be. But I don't know. Y'all let us know in the comments what you guys think about that. Giannis, he's going to be the biggest free agent name of the 2020 free agency, and he's looking like he
I
could
think he has one
stay.
more year too on his contract. I think this is the year that he should be signing an extension.
So there's a possibility then that he goes somewhere else, because I've heard
Not this year, but the year
that,
afterwards.
not this year. They're saying this year he could possibly get traded.
Yeah,
Maybe
because he hasn't
this,
signed an extension to stay beyond this coming season.
right. So it's not a
He's still
free
on
agency
contract.
move then. So it's
Yeah,
not
he's
free
he's
agency
got to
move.
sign an extension. Like Bradley Beal has the same situation going on with the Wizards.
And if he doesn't sign an extension, how's that work?
Then Miami, Golden State, whoever, they can make a run for him next free agency period, because the money that Milwaukee can offer him, I think, is super max. So that's like Steph
Hell
Curry
yeah.
money, right? Him being able to make like 220, 240, whatever, may be super big money for Giannis.
My goodness.
And I think if he doesn't sign that contract, he risks losing like 40, maybe 20 mil, something like that, which is, I mean, that's nothing to sniff at. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, he's got a
Giannis.
huge decision to make, because the dude has to figure out, can Milwaukee build a championship contender team around me? Because he keeps on falling in the second round. So he's got a huge decision to make. I think he's going to stay in Milwaukee, though.
I think so too. I think the chances of him leaving are slim, based off of what he's been saying. I guess based off of him not really entertaining anything, because nowadays, things get leaked all the time when people are entertaining stuff. Him selling a house or buying a house in another city or anything like that. We haven't seen
Yeah,
anything
bro.
like that. The chances of him leaving are not looking that great right now. On top of the fact that teams are able to offer a way bigger supermax to their star that they drafted, you know what I mean, and that he's been there for some time. So financially, it would make the most sense for him to stay. But in terms of rings, he's not winning shit in Milwaukee. What do you think, Brooks?
Yeah, I mean, unless let's say they decide to get rid of Chris Middleton and maybe Eric Bledsoe, right? Then you can actually get a good fourth quarter guy to score with you. Say someone like, it's not gonna happen with Kyrie, but someone like Kyrie, right, where you can give him the ball in the fourth quarter, he can go at anybody, get you a clutch bucket. That's not
Right.
Chris Middleton. That's not Giannis. That's not Brook Lopez, the Space Mountain. Like, you need someone that can carry you in the fourth quarter, and that's not any of those three guys. So who can you get? Maybe like a Chris Paul. Um, I don't even know. Someone like a Dame. He's not gonna leave Portland though. Like, you need
Right.
someone to go at it in the fourth quarter, and that's not what they have. And that's what, if they want to keep Giannis, that's what they have to get. But no, to answer your question, I don't think he's gonna win a title in Milwaukee.
So CP3 is in trade talks right now with Phoenix. Do you think that's going to materialize?
I would love for that to materialize. Like, the
How would that
dude,
even work? Who would they have to give up to get him?
I think I saw someone say Kelly Oubre, Wave Poppy, him getting traded. Maybe you get rid of like Rubio. Maybe you get rid of like one of the younger guys on that team. But I think it's very possible, because you get Devin Booker, you have CP3, Then you have DeAndre Ayton, who is a complete fucking monster. Like, that dude destroyed the Wizards in the bubble. I mean, and he put up some pretty good numbers in the bubble too. So I think having that big three right there would be huge, and that's what Phoenix has been missing a whole lot during Devin Booker's tenure. There is a really good point guard. You can make a case for like Isaiah. What's his name? Oh damn, I can't remember his last name. Played for the Celtics. Isaiah, he played for the Celtics.
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas. Why can't I not remember that? Yeah, Isaiah Thomas is probably like one of the better point guards he had there. Goran Dragic too, but they didn't get to stay around Devin Booker. So having a good point guard there is like the biggest missing piece that they have.
Yeah, man, for sure. So we'll see what happens with this Chris Paul Phoenix situation, man, because that would be, we've already seen how Chris Paul, he was left to die out there, and RIP Wizards, man.
Facts. Who said that?
John Wall's coming back. My brother just said that.
Oh yeah.
John Wall's coming back, and he's looking great. But to be fair, I've only seen him in these pickup runs. I got to see him in a full 100% NBA game, and we need to see him stay healthy.
Not even just John Wall,
at the same time.
Not even just John Wall. Michael Beasley's looking pretty tough in there too. Like he's talking mad shit, and he's having so much fun. I love to see it. I hope he can get back on the team, because he got a really bad shake getting the Rona right around.
He got the Rona.
Yeah, he got the Rona like right around when they were leaving for Orlando.
I didn't even know
that was really tough
man.
for him.
So he's doing his thing. He should be getting an NBA contract. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like the Lakers scooped him up to have a great bench guy that you don't have to pay shit. You give him like practice squad money, you know what I mean? But the Wizards, man, I don't know about them. They need to get a true big for John Wall, because John Wall's at his best when he got bigs to dump it off to. He can do his thing, but
Facts.
he's no Kyrie, or actually no, he's no Dame Lillard, because Dame Lillard is the kind of point guard that'll always want to get his. You know what I mean? He'll pass, but his forte is scoring. And
Facts.
John Wall is not the kind of guy that go out there and get you 32, 33 points a game. But we'll see about that. And I think another honorable mention here is Delonte West. I know he's not getting an NBA contract, but I just want to say it's beautiful to see what Mark Cuban has done with him, being able to pick him up in Dallas, take him to rehab, save his life. Now he's in the gym shooting, man. Huge shout out to Mr. Shark Tank himself, Mark Cuban. It's very rare that you see a millionaire go to and then rise out of it again to the point where he potentially could have life opportunities. Because usually when you go to the top and you hit the bottom, you usually stay at the bottom. Definitely love to see what's going on there, to see a billionaire at that give that much of a fuck about one person that he had a relationship like 10 years ago with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out to PG, one of PG County's finest too.
He's from PG County? I did not know that.
He went to Eleanor Roosevelt, right in Greenbelt, Maryland.
Yeah, Eleanor Roosevelt is in the state championships every year. They've always been pretty good.
Damn near, yeah, they're a great basketball school for sure.
Like you guys always say, man, the DMV got the high school hoops on lock. So
high school hoops and football, bro.
I want to ask you this, man, because we're about to close it out, and I think this is a good topic for us to end off on, man. What do you think we should be looking forward to? I know I'm not as plugged in as I should be, but here's my opportunity to get hip right here, right now. HMO live stream episode 8. Who are some people to watch out for in the DMV high school hoop scene?
Well, for sure, one of them is Trevor Kills, plays in the best high school conference in the country, in the WCAC. I'm not gonna say arguably that is the best high school basketball conference in the country. He goes to PVI, same school that, guys like Jeremy Roche, he's going to Duke, Brandon Slater, he's going to Villanova. There are a bunch of high major guys that went to that school. And then there's another girl, AZ Fudd. She goes to St. John's, where I used to go to high school. #1 girls basketball player in the country. She's picking between UConn, Maryland, and I think a West Coast school like UCLA, I believe. I've seen her play in person. she's the goods, bro. Like one of the best players I've ever seen in person. Gender not included. She dropped 40. She dropped 40 in a high school game, bro. And I don't even think that's her career high. I think her career high is like 45, 46. Yeah, she is a fucking baller. And I can't wait to see what she does this season, presuming there's this season, and beyond. But those are my two players to watch for sure. And you can watch them anywhere that you want, honestly. Like, they have games online from like Monumental Sports, who, they're the Wizards ownership group, they're Mystics ownership group, so watch out for them. But yeah, hopefully it's a high school basketball season, bro, because I miss being in the gym. I miss seeing my immediate guys like Capital Hoops. You know Capital Hoops.
Yeah.
I ball, I shoot. Yeah, him.
Shoot, swoosh,
That's my guy.
Capital Hoops.
That's my guy, bro.
For those that don't know, man, Brooks dropped an interview with one of the dudes that's associated with Capital Hoops. Definitely check that out. We'll put the link in the description.
My man, Ant. Definitely go to the Hot Media. That video will be up there. We were talking about when a high school basketball player decided to go to the G League. I guess we can put that in the description somewhere, or whatever.
Link in the description for that one. Just scroll down, you'll see it.
But like I said, man, I miss being around my media guys. I miss just being in the gym, and I hope that there is a season to go to.
Brooks, man, I truly miss seeing you doing your thing on the sideline, bro. I really do hope, for not only for you doing your media thing, but for these young folks that are like, in their senior year of high school. I hope that they don't miss their senior year, because high school is not quite like college where you can redshirt. You can't stay another year in high school and super senior it out over some sports. So this is a really critical year. Hopefully that there will be something that can be done. But those are the players to watch out for. I'll definitely drop some highlights too, over like us talking. I'll put some videos and whatnot of the players that you just mentioned.
Yeah, man, definitely shout out. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I keep on interrupting you.
No, go ahead, bro.
There are guys like, we had Free Alexander on here, and he dropped a couple of videos. There's another kid of like workout videos with like, he actually dropped something with Carmelo Anthony, bro.
Yup, I was about to say.
And they were in Towson. Like, who would have thought that Carmelo Anthony would be back home?
Random pickups, right?
There's a kid, there's this white boy. He's going to Villanova right now, Leprechaun Films. He did something with AZ Fudd. Like, yeah, there are so many talented videographers here for you to check out, for anybody to check out and watch these highlight films, these workout films that they put out, bro.
Yeah, shout out Free, man, because Free Alexander, what I've noticed about him is that the guy has just been nonstop working, and he seems to be in the right place at the right time. I think, you and I can definitely, take notes from that, and I think other people that are doing any type of sports videography or videography in general, right time, right place. And I'll give you a perfect example. Right, I was flying my drone this past weekend with two of my friends, and they were doing like, they were riding their ATVs and like dirt bikes and shit like this.
Very tough video, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I'm working on the whole video right now. It'll be out soon, but one of the things that I was very upset I missed is that my homie did a wipeout. He did a whole wipeout on his ATV, and my drone wasn't there to catch that moment. You want to know, is he okay? And then once you learn that he's okay, you want to think, oh, fuck, did I catch that on video? So a lesson for videographers here. I learned this, and I want every videographer that will ever see this video to learn this. Be at the right time, at the right place, because things like a wipeout, things like running into Carmelo Anthony, anything like that, unexpected things, you just have to keep the camera rolling and be at the right time, at the right place. Definitely a lesson I learned this weekend, and a lesson for all videographers out there, man. But
for sure, man. And Pedro shouts me out for doing my thing, man. But I definitely got to shout out Pedro, because he's grown this drone by drone thing like exponentially. And it's amazing to see, bro. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. Let's keep doing this thing, man. Franco included. Franco Analysis is blowing the hell up. Franco got like 1,000 followers in less time
in like 2 months
than I did, or Pedro did. Like, that's incredible to me. That's so crazy.
Yeah, nah. Like I said, man, he passed the total hear me out subscriber count, man. Because you know why these people that he's tuning in with on Twitter, they want to see they don't get enough with just the tweet. They want to see the video too, so they'll go over to his YouTube and tune in. Um, Got to definitely give props for that. But I appreciate that, man. You know, with the drone thing, it's become it started as an interest, grew to a hobby, and now I've opened my own business. And honestly, this is like it's going well so far, but I've done this with the podcast a couple of times. I just don't want to hit that wall of complacency. Always room for growth, always room for, lessons and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that, I have a potential. I'm not going to speak too much on it, but I have a potential big gig coming up that could really open the floodgates. I'm hoping that'll go as planned, and hopefully everything will go as it is. But just for anybody that's doing anything, content creation, opening a business, anything that you can possibly think of in life that you're doing right now, don't give up on it if you really like it and you feel like over time you can get better. It's only when you're doing something, for years and years and years, and there's no real progress, and you feel you've done everything that you possibly could, is when you maybe start rethinking things. But don't give up on what it is that you got going on. It could really, like, the more practice, the more research that you put in, any work that you put in, take lessons from your losses. That's why I always say in my bio, if you look at my bio, wins and lessons. There's no losses, and you learn from all this shit. So just keep it pushing, content creators, business owners, gamers, streamers, fucking marathon runners, goddamn, ninja warriors and all that shit, man. Like, just keep it going, do your thing.
Thanks.
And, just don't be complacent. I think that's a good place to leave it off. Franco, man, we want to get back in here for a final word real quick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll go ahead and leave the people off with a couple of words, man. I just want to say, and I give a shout out to the first ladies of HMO all the time. Shout out to Ashley, shout out to Zakia, shout out to Brendoza. She's over here playing GTA 5. She can't even hear me. Can you hear me? Yeah, you can't hear me. Yeah, so shout out to the first ladies, always motivating us. And I also want to say one quick thing. I see a lot of people out there saying I'm going to conclude this with what I said earlier. I am biased with this, what I'm about to say, as well as what I was talking about earlier when I said that. People that say that being in a relationship is whack and it's a waste of time and shit like this.
Who says that?
You just haven't found the right one yet, because I promise you one thing. Behind every great person in history, there's always been a great partner by their side, pushing them to do the best that they can possibly do. So that's what I want to say, and that's my shout out. As always, I'm always going to give a shout out to the HMO first ladies, and shout out to y'all, of course. We've been doing this thing all year 2020, putting in a lot of work with the podcast and with our own personal stuff that we got going on.
Great period of growth for us, man.
Yeah, man. 2020 it's been shitty and it's been great at the same time. There's always some positives that come out of really negative situations, and I'm thankful that we've been able to do our thing over 2020. And I guess should we Brenda just brought to my attention here. So I guess we do a farewell to Frankie J. Frankie J has his time with the podcast has officially finished. He's gone his separate way. He started working at a radio station.
Congrats to him for sure.
Congrats to Frankie J on the radio gig, because you know what? He's the guy that got me. He's the guy that got me into podcasting, and he's always wanted to do radio for work. And the fact that he's doing that, man, is just great. And we wish him nothing but the best at his new job and all of his future endeavors. And if you're seeing this, Frankie, you always got a seat on this Skype call. You always got a seat in this studio. And nothing but love for you and Chris, and we hope everything is going well with you guys. And any final words y'all want to give the HMO live stream people? I think we're down to one follower. It's getting to one viewer. It's getting kind of late, but any last words you guys want to give?
Stay informed and remember to distinguish your subjective beliefs from what's objective. From hopefully you learned some of that in that discussion that I had with Brooks and Pedro.
Facts.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching. That's all I gotta say. Definitely shout out to Franco, Pedro, Frankie, Zakia, Brenda, Ashley, all of our lover, all of our loves, all of our friends, all of our family. And definitely follow Drones by Dro, the Hot Media, and Frank Analysis too.
Yeah, man. So we'll leave it off at that. Thank you for tuning in. HMO live stream episode 8. We'll see you guys next week. I think we might even see y'all on Thursday, but we'll see you guys next week regardless. And
bang,
bang, bang, bang.